Parents, today I'm going to be going over the most overlooked phase of your teen's SAT journey, the messy middle. For those of you guys who don't know me yet, my name is Jared Wynn, and I'm the founder and director of Geometry Guru's SAT Prep. And at this point in my career, I've helped hundreds of students increase their SAT scores so that they can go to their dream colleges or qualify for scholarships. With that being said, family, let's go into the most important phase, actually, of your teen's SAT journey, the messy middle. Now, all of these SAT people, they like to talk about the highs of SAT prep, like people with 150, 200 point increases, scoring a 1500 or above, but they never talk about that messy middle in between where they don't see any real results. So what the messy middle is when a student starts a good SAT prep program, but the first 4 to 6 weeks, they're not seeing their score move at all, even though they're staying consistent, even though that they're attending all their classes, asking questions, etc., right? And what that does to them is that for a lot of students, it causes them to feel really discouraged in the process. It's like, hey, I've been working for 4 to 6 weeks, but I'm not seeing the score move. Okay, so then they get discouraged, they either give up or they dig themselves into this emotional ditch that they can't get out of. Okay, now, families, you guys need to understand this. Okay, SAT prep is very similar to weight loss. Okay, it's like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried to lose weight before, but it's like, hey, if you just look at the scale every single day, then it's not going to always show you the full story, right? And you might either quit your weight loss journey or you might get frustrated, right? But same thing with SAT prep, right? The reason why this is happening is because you need to remember that a lot of these concepts that your teen is relearning, again, they have not learned since like 9th or 10th grade, even 8th grade in certain examples. Okay, so realistically, in the first 4 to 6 weeks, you're not going to see any meaningful score increases, right? Unless you're a complete outlier. Okay, because you're relearning all this material, but not just that, you're learning new strategies to actually accomplish those previous concepts in a test-like environment, right? Because the problem with the SAT is that it's not just reviewing. You got to learn how to do those same concepts in a way that it's like the real SAT, right? It's you only have 60, 70 seconds a question. So you need to accommodate for that in your prep as well. So your brain is not used to actually doing all these things. And for the first 4 to 6 weeks, you're kind of just absorbing information, and it might feel really overwhelming for you because, again, you haven't gotten the repetition that you need or the strategies that you need to realistically, do this effectively, okay? Now, it's going to feel that way until you hit what we call here the aha moment, okay? The aha moment is when, okay, you hit this score plateau, right? And then boom, you just completely spike out of nowhere because everything starts clicking. If you're consistent, right, and you're doing your work and you're making sure that you're being, diligent with going to classes and stuff like that, right, eventually you're going to have this aha moment where everything just clicks, all right? And then all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you're just like, oh my goodness, I actually understand it. It's because, again, your brain doesn't really work in a way where it's like you're going to understand it right away and apply it right away. You got to do it over and over and over again. Right? But a lot of students, they give up right before the aha moment. And it's such a shame because if they had just kept on being consistent or they just kept on doing the same thing that they were doing before, eventually they would have gotten there. Okay? Because, right, like I said, the brain, it was very reluctant to change because you need to remember this. So SAT teaches things that are, traditionally taught in schools, right? But they teach it you have to do it in a slightly different way. So that means for 16 or 17 years, your brain has been used to doing these problems in a regular school environment, right? So you have to unwire your brain so that you can do it in context of the SAT. Way different things, okay? So you're not going to get that in the first 4 to 6 weeks, okay? Realistically, you're going to have that, after the 6 to 7 week mark, right? That's when you're going to start seeing aha moments, sometimes even more than that. That's why you need a long enough runway, at least 8 weeks, so that your team can realistically get the results that they're looking for. Again, you can do it in a shorter amount of time, right? But it's not as ideal, okay? It's like trying, again, I always like to compare SAT to weight loss, right? Because, you would rather have 12 weeks to lose 10 pounds than 6 weeks to lose those pounds, right? It's much harder in that shorter amount of time frame. Is it possible? Yes, but it's not going to be as enjoyable or sustainable. That's why I don't really like crash courses, okay? Now, let me give you an example of an aha moment, okay? If you guys have been following me for a while, then you know the story of a student named Alex who just got into Boston College over in December, right? Alex, when he first joined our program, he was scoring around a 1300. He took the test 4 times. His entire program, right, he was extremely consistent, but his score was just not going up. In fact, halfway through the program, he actually took another SAT and he scored the same thing. So his dad and his mom emailed me extremely concerned. He's like, Alex has been doing 4 to 6 weeks of very consistent work, right? But he's not, like, his score hasn't gone up. And that's because he was in this messy middle, right? But, you know, I basically saw like his practice in the back end. I was like, hey, don't worry. He's going to go past that plateau like right now, really soon. Okay, because he's been very, very consistent, and his practice, even though it hasn't, you know, translated over the test just yet, he was just right there. And then guess what happened? Boom, out of nowhere, he went up to a 1450. Okay, 150 points. Pretty much it felt like overnight. But in order to get that overnight, that quote unquote overnight success, he needed to work exceptionally hard and consistent in the weeks prior to that. Okay, because again, you're not just going to get it boom right away. It's weeks and weeks of diligent consistency. Remember, it's not enough just to do the right things when you feel good. You got to do the right things when you feel bad as well. Okay? Because again, if you only do good things when you're feeling good, you're never going to get the results that you're looking for. All right? Okay, family, that's it for today's video. That's about the messy middle that no other SAT prep company likes to talk about. If you guys need help applying this to your teen's unique situation, go ahead and send me an email. Go ahead and send me a DM. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. No obligations. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.